It's car con carne. Let's eat in the car. It's car con carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
This is Car Con Carne, a Q101 podcast. I'm James Van Alstyne, and look at this. I'm recording at 6:30 in the morning. The sun is already coming through. Summer is here. Ravinia season is here. If you're heading to Ravinia this summer, make life easy for yourself. Take Metra. If you take the Union Pacific North Line, just show your conductor your same-day ticket, and you ride for free. So many great shows happening. Daryl Hall with Elvis Costello this summer, same stage. Oh my God. Violent Femmes doing an album play of their debut in June. Oh my God. Robert Plant with Alison Krauss. Los Lobos are coming. So much great stuff. Go to ravinia.org to find out who's coming and when, and get your tickets while you're there. Car Con Carne also sponsored by Easy Automation, easy-automation.net. A smart home connects virtually all the technology in your home. When you have an Easy Automation installed smart home system, you and your family can control nearly every device and system in your house in ways that are easy and fun to use. Transform your living space. This really will change the way you live at home. Change it with cutting-edge home automation and experience seamless control over everything: audio, video, your security, lighting, climate. Embrace the future of smart living. It's here. You're ready. Get a hassle-free quote. It's free. No strings attached. Go to easy-automation.net or call my guy Dan, 630-730-3728. Okay, good. Shall we begin?
Yeah.
The sun is just baking.
Beating into my head right there.
He's going to
pick the back seat. I'm awesome.
Jason's going to have like half of a suntan when he emerges from the car.
Yeah.
I do like doing this in broad daylight.
I can do this.
Yeah. How many of these have you done in broad daylight?
Very few. I mean, I work during the day, so this is a nocturnal podcast by and large. But when you wake up ass crack early in the morning, it's a game changer. You can do daytime stuff. This is Car Con Carne outside Monster Dog's Morning Monster Cafe, which is in the parking lot of Cobra Lounge, 235 North Ashland. To my right, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, even if you're listening, he's still on my right. That is Chef Jason Gilmore, the man behind the Morning Monster Cafe, the Monster Dog's truck. Behind me, it is returning guest. Actually, you're a returning guest, too. Behind me, returning guest Steve Silver. Steve is Chicago's legendary lover, fighter, doorman, and raconteur.
Oh, my God.
He's, in short, storyteller. Garrulous. He's a talker.
There you go.
He's got things to say, things to share. Since we're outside the food truck, which just launched beginning of May, right?
Yeah, May 1st.
This is brand new. Let's talk about the food at the Morning Monster Cafe, open Monday through Friday, 7 until 11 o'clock in the morning. I have...
Nice.
I don't know which is which. This is the Daywalker. This is what
Daywalker.
I wanted. Let's start with what Steve has. Chef, what's he eating this morning?
So he's eating the classic Morning Monster breakfast sandwich. It's house-made cheddar chive biscuit with eggs, house-made bacon or sausage, and aged cheddar, and a spicy peach jam as well.
Ooh,
which kind of brings it all together. A little,
wow,
and
it
sweetness.
is literally. Look at this kind of.
now I'm having the Daywalker. Oh, let me see this.
Can you see that? Look at that. Oh, that's food porn at its best.
It is. That's arousing. Now, what got my attention is the Daywalker. Now, the monster theme is really carried throughout the truck.
Yeah. So, the Daywalker is actually one of our hot dogs from Monster Dogs, and we've adapted it to breakfast as well with a addition of a breakfast sausage. So, it's a little bit of a monster. It's a French toast bun, like New England style French toast bun.
I just laughed when I saw it for the first time.
Oh my God.
That is Cinnamon Toast Crunch on the top.
Yeah. So yeah, it's New England style French toast bun with bacon bits, breakfast sausage, blueberry jam, and what I call a cereal milk mustard.
A cereal milk mustard.
Yeah.
What? So you could do this with a breakfast sausage or a hot dog.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, for breakfast though, you got to go with the sausage.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is obscene.
But if you've been up all night, maybe the hot dog.
There's Cinnamon Toast Crunch on the top.
It's my favorite cereal. I had to put it on.
I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. This is, oh my God, look at this.
French
it really is a
toast
French toast bun.
Not just calling it that. For real.
Yeah, we do the whole thing. We French toast it.
Stoner food's not just for dinner anymore.
It's not. It's for every meal that you can eat.
I don't even know how to approach this, but I'm going in.
Just go.
Yeah, I'm going into it.
And tell me, obviously you did some research and development on this. Like the combination of flavors on paper seems surprising. Like the blueberry, especially.
Well, I mean, the blueberry. I mean, it's French toast. Who doesn't like blueberries and French toast together? I mean, that's my thought. And then, I mean, yeah, they can be weird. It's still a hot dog. This is a breakfast sausage, but you still need a little bit of mustard, a little bit of tang on there. I don't really want to give up my secret what the cereal milk mustard is, but
The cereal milk mustard's pretty great.
yeah, it's really sweet. It's not overpowering. It really sets off everything.
This is really sweet. Here's my partially eaten Daywalker. This is substantial. Like, this will carry me through my morning at work.
Like, yeah.
I get really snacky during the day.
It's a full sandwich.
Not today.
This is a snack assassin.
Yeah, it's a monster.
How's yours, Steve?
Oh, look at that thing.
That biscuit looks.
It's unbelievable. It's like,
Yeah, those are my favorite biscuits. I use them on top of pot pies too. They're great.
So the truck is here in a lot of Cobra Lounge, as I said. Is this where it will stay? Or are you taking this on the road?
For now, we're here. We're dedicating ourselves to the summer here, Monday through Friday, 7 to 11, in the parking lot at Cobra Lounge. There'll probably be some times we're out on the prowl, but right now, this morning thing we're dedicated to for the summer here now. So
This is so Chicago. Just hot dogs for breakfast, sausage for breakfast.
yeah,
The bacon's great.
thank you. That's I make that myself.
I was going to say, I think you undersold it by calling it bacon bits. Like, this is
This
is legit.
Yeah. I make the bacon myself. Make the sausage myself. I mean, everything's made in house.
Oh my God.
Biscuits, everything. I don't make the buns, but
I'm not going to be talking during this because I'm going to be eating.
That's the hardest part of hosting this. I just want to keep eating it. The blueberry actually is perfect for this. Oh my goodness. So, what was the incentive to turn the food truck into a breakfast food truck?
I really love breakfast sandwiches. I think it's really hard to find really good ones around the city.
Really good fresh ones.
Really good fresh ones, yeah. And there's a lot of boom in the neighborhood. There's a lot of new business, a lot of new.
That's right by Lake and Ashland.
Residential, yeah. That we're trying to capitalize on and we're just trying to feed the people that are around here. There's not a whole lot of breakfast around here.
Oh, that's
some
the
fast
truth.
food stuff, but there's nothing right around here right now. So,
But it's true that Fulton Market sprawl is pushing west.
it's pushing west. It's not quite down here this as far yet, but
It's inevitable.
the residential is definitely down here and coming this way, and we're just trying to hit those people.
Planting your flag early.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. This is delicious. All right, so what else is on the menu? So we have what Steve and I are eating. You have an actual hot dog.
Yeah, we've got our normal. We call it the Monster of the Midway. It's a Chicago style hot dog, except we do what we call Monster Relish. It's chopped up tomatoes and onions, and then both dill relish and pickle sweet relish.
Now, are people eating that for breakfast?
No, not very often. We get a couple people right at the end of the end of the day, right around 10:45, 11 o'clock. We've had a couple of them. We've had a couple of early morning hot dogs, though. You'd be surprised.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you're right. It's Chicago. I mean, but we figured, it is Chicago. If you want a hot dog at 7 in the morning, come get a hot dog at 7 in the morning.
It's kind of a thing.
Oh, this mustard is great.
Thank you.
This all works. And I do like the sweetness of it. And the French toasting the bun. I mean,
I don't know. I guess I wanted to try a breakfast hot dog. It's just really what I wanted to go for was breakfast hot dog.
So he covered it with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah.
This beautiful mustard and bacon, and he says to himself, "You know what this thing needs?
yeah.
French toast."
I'm not done. I'm not done.
It was either
This
that
bun
or like
sucks.
a
I need
donut
a
or
real
something. But
bun.
French toast was easier.
I love it. Okay, so we're drinking coffee. Who's your coffee partner for this?
Metric Coffee, right down the road from us. So
Comes in the most awesome coffee.
The first thing Chef asked Steve and I this morning, you guys want coffee? Yes.
Yes.
absolutely, it's the one perk of this job is that I get to make coffee for myself. The first thing I do when I get here is make coffee.
Yeah, because I mean, Cobra is obviously a late night place. It's a bar. It's a club. So this is a different everything. It's a flip of the calendar for everyone working on this truck.
Absolutely, yeah. We're all getting older, and our nights aren't as long as they used to be. Let's be honest. So we get up earlier. We rely on coffee a lot. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to do this too.
Now, Chef, when I've had you on before, when I've talked about you on this podcast before, I've referenced the menu items you create for Cobra. A lot of people were attracted to what you're doing based on your hot dog soup.
Yeah.
Based on that, and based on what I'm seeing in your food truck, you are just a hot dog loving Chicagoan.
Yeah, I mean that's what I grew up eating. I love hot. It's if I want lunch, I go get a hot dog somewhere, or I go get an Italian beef. It's not, or, I go get a cheeseburger. It's not new. These are the things that I love to eat. Why not try them myself and make the weird, cool ones that I want to eat?
I have argued for a long time it is impossible to have just one hot dog. If you're ordering a hot dog,
Oh, you gotta have two.
you got to have
At
two.
least
Especially if you're bringing it back home, you got to have one for the car.
Exactly.
A road hot dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Road dog.
Yeah, because one is just, that's a tease.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just an appetizer.
Two feels like, okay, I've completed my mission today.
But
Absolutely.
2 fries too, or just 1 fry?
One fry.
One fry.
Do you know that the hot dog is why Peter O'Toole moved to America?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
So check this out.
This is why Steve is here.
Yeah.
Just
I
so you
read
know,
an
that's why
interview
Steve
with
is
Peter
here.
O'Toole, and obviously one of the most fascinating human beings in the world, right? And he's like, World War II happens. We're just getting a little past World War II. He goes, we're still rationing in England. I'm working at the Old Vic. I'm working with all these famous actors who become famous later, like he does. At the time, they're not famous yet, right? He's like, and we don't have any food. And through some lend lease program, they end up all going to New York to do a show on Broadway. And he goes, I walked out of the theater with my first paycheck, which was cash money, and there was a hot dog vendor, and I'd never had one, and they were like 10 cents or whatever back then. And he goes, I'll take one. And he goes, and it was this huge slab of delicious meat covered with mustard and sour, it's New York, sauerkraut. Because I had never seen anything like it in my life since we've been on rationing for the last 10 years at that point, throughout the war and after, right? It's like, and I sat there and ate one, and then I ordered another one. He goes, to this day, I always have 2 hot dogs.
Thank you.
And he goes, and that was when I knew that I'm going to have to bleep myself out. But in the book, he's like, the next sentence is, and that's when I knew I loved this effing country and had to move here. Hot dogs. Isn't that crazy? Like 1948, 49.
Almost as crazy as you feeling the need to censor yourself on this.
Oh, okay. He said talking.
Yeah. Come on.
I forgot.
We're all adults here. We're not on the
I know,
radio.
but sometimes I get told to behave.
It's daytime. It's hard to.
It's daytime.
You're not used to it.
My inner voice is always dropping the F-bomb, but sometimes I wait till noon before I share it with others. But yeah, so that's why Peter O'Toole fell in love with America.
So Steve, I mentioned, is a raconteur. He's a storyteller. He is an author. Based on the stories you've told and your life experience, I think it's safe to say we're lucky to have you here in the present day, that you made it to 2024.
That's true enough.
That's true enough. And you're working on a new book?
I am. Now that I don't have to censor myself. I wrote the first book, This Might Hurt a Bit, and did some stuff. Did a few shows here at Cobra.
And we talked about the book last time you were on the show.
About the book last time.
That was also the same episode where you explained the origin of the Chicago cop coats. One of my favorite stories on this podcast. All right, go ahead.
And I was working on the second book, which I was calling High and Outside, which I think is a perfect description of my life as a door guy, high and outside.
Brilliant.
And as a tour manager for all these bands that were huge bands that everybody loved, and I was like the babysitter, right?
Well, hang on. Who did you manage? Who did you manage?
Killing Joke, Pigface. I didn't tour manage Ministry. I was on the road with them for a little bit. But I did 2 years, actually 2.5 years between Killing Joke and the Pigface stuff back. Kind of did one, did the other, all through Europe and Asia and then America a couple times.
Being a tour manager for Pigface seems like an unruly position to hold. That's a lot of wrangling.
Well, thank God I had a huge cocaine problem at the time.
Oh, thank goodness.
But yeah, a lot of wrangling. Any band that's got 4 drummers, 3 bass players, 6 guitarists, and 5 vocalists.
Yeah, Chef and I are in Pigface.
Yeah.
You just probably didn't see us. We were usually last to call.
Yeah.
So I was going to write that book, and that was fighting me. I don't know. Well, you've written books. You know how they fight.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, John Kesey passed away unexpectedly, and this kind of comes full circle. And at the wake, I got up and spoke, and as I was leaving, John Moore, Deep Tunnel Project.
Deep Tunnel Project, Tar, yep. Immensely talented musician.
Shakes my hand as I'm walking out the door, and I called it, at the thing when you said it, Tony, I called it the Chicago suit. Like all of us have a Chicago suit. It's for weddings, which we don't go to that much anymore, but funerals, whatever. It doesn't matter whether you wear a suit at work all day or not. You have a Chicago suit. It's the one that you go to functions with your people, right? So we're both wearing Chicago suits.
Yeah.
I'm shaking his hand. He goes, you had at least 20 more minutes in you, easy. I go, I did. And this voice behind me goes, 20 minutes. And I'm 6'2". To have a head above me is kind of impressive, right?
Yeah.
And I don't get it. And John looks behind, and I look, it's Kwame Rule because John Kesey worked at the prosecutor's office.
Of course.
So John made Kwame laugh. I walk out, and I'm like, I was going to go back in, but then it was too much for me because it hit me pretty hard. So I'm walking to my car. By the time I get home, I've already had my inner voices gone, you know what? John's right. I don't know what it was about shaking hands with John, seeing him, whatever, at that moment. I'm like, this book is not working. You know what I mean? Because, of course, I'm not much, but I'm all I think about, right? So I'm like, this book's not working. I'm like, I sell more T-shirts than I do books. At this point, it's like, I'm going to call it Fuck You, We're From Chicago. And it's going to be a love letter to Chicago. And it's going to be about what just fucking happened.
Yeah.
And how people feel about this city. And it was part of a short story I did as an opening for the Pigface thing at the House of Blues, but it wasn't in the first book, even though that was when the first book came out. So it's morphed into this thing, right? And people send me pictures all over the world wearing the shirt.
That's perfect.
And it's pretty cool. And I'm like, that's it. So I'm doing that. And then John, again, we just did the thing at Tone Deaf, and it was just like, I'm on the right track. So there it is. So that's the next book. It's pretty much done. I'm just going to run through it all again real quick and then get it edited by the lovely Claudia, and then we'll go from there.
But what you said is really important. I think this is true for people on the culinary side of things. I think anyone on the creative side, like, you have to be courageous enough to let shit go if it's not working. Yeah. Like, no matter how much time or energy you invest in it, when you know, and it's time to cut bait and figure out your next move. If you tether yourself to something you're not feeling or is inauthentic, you're doing no one a favor.
No, at all. 100% correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've come up with harebrained ideas.
Oh, absolutely. There's all. I put cinnamon toast crunch in a hot dog. There's definitely ideas that didn't work out. I mean,
that was my first thing.
There's definitely ideas that didn't work out. But you push forward and you move on. I mean, even ones that you did think were good don't turn out to be good. You can build upon that.
Well, even with this podcast, I mean, I started with a dedicated co-host. It was a barbecue podcast to start with. I mean, you got to figure out what's working and what's not. He left town. I decided to make this my podcast and have interview guests and do it wherever the fuck. And
right.
That was the right move.
Absolutely.
Right. But had I stayed, tethered to that idea, we got to do a barbecue thing and I have to have a co-host, we wouldn't be doing this 10 years later.
No.
We wouldn't be in the car enjoying a Daywalker.
Right.
Exactly.
We wouldn't have bought an espresso machine and made breakfast sandwiches on a hot dog truck.
Exactly. You wouldn't have been the #1 podcast in Chicago.
True.
#1 music podcast in the Chicago
It's the only
region.
one that counts.
Yeah.
I agree. And I'm not.
Claudia wants me to let you know she voted for you, too.
Thank you, Claudia. I don't need accolades or that kind of stuff. I'm far too modest for that, but I really did appreciate and enjoyed.
It was very cool.
That was
Sure.
after doing this for 10 years, like you want to have something to show for it.
Sounds
Right. You want someone to say,
Yeah.
good job.
So, if we can just slide back to the reinventing thing for a second, and why we're here so early in the morning. Thank you, coffee. When you put out the shot, right? To me, we talked about it a little bit before we came on when we were just in front of that gorgeous truck, which I hope you get a shot of.
I already took pictures and posted them. The hands, you got to
It's
see.
the best.
I put it on my personal Instagram. So fucking cool.
But it's like you put a shot out. You're like, hey, who's got what's going on with restaurant wise, right? And I said, you got to go to the food truck and see Jason's creations and blah blah. And you're like, hey, let's do it. And I'm like, my mouth overshoots my fucking ass all the time. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. It's an hour and a half to get there, whatever. And here. I just love this though. But to me, this is a typically good story, right? Come down here. Still got an hour and a half to get home, go to work, whatever. You're here before work.
Yep.
Jason doesn't really need to be doing all this when he's got a truck to run.
Yeah, no kidding.
But we're here, and it's like, I don't know, this is great. But the key to it is, and don't blush, I got a great admiration for what Jason's doing because here, like you're saying, he changes stuff up. You go into the Cobra, the food is amazing, right?
It is.
There's no way to put this. I mean, it's kind of sad. It should be more well known, but it's like it's kind of like this really well kept secret, and it really shouldn't be because it's just fucking phenomenal. Like,
Thank you.
how I picture it, and I'm not like that steeped in his whole world, but I think if Bourdain was still around, this would be where he'd be fucking hanging out when he came to Chicago, and he'd be like,
That's high praise.
That's
I don't
a burger,
disagree.
That is.
right?
Thank you.
And he'd be like, "That's this," and he'd be talking to Jason, and Jason would be like, "No, I did this first before I came up with the cinnamon toast crunch mustard." You know what I mean? They would have that talk, and it would not be because we all respect it. We're all in this car because we like it, right? And we hold it in high reverence. You have a podcast that specializes in this stuff. There is no small feat in the food world, right? If you do it well enough to make people happy. But the minutia that Chef has to go through to make this such a killer food truck is beyond, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's
sure.
why I put it out there. It's like, here's a guy trying. It's new. Let's do it. Yeah, I'll come down there and talk about it because, whatever. Do I eat meat? I absolutely fucking do not. Do I love everything that I've ever eaten that Jason's cooked? I absolutely fucking do. And I actually...
The second I told him he could swear, there was like a switch.
That's it, man. But, I mean, and I get it, I don't live in the city limits anymore, but we sometimes take... Oh my God, I'm going to say this out loud and it's going to sound awful. Punch me in the face or edit it out if you want later.
It's easier to edit.
Take for granted the rich fucking tapestry that is Chicago, right? Like, look at it this way. One of your friends comes, like my buddy Jimmy Doom, I'm going to see him in Detroit soon. He's a Detroit guy, but he's an actor and a foodie, right? He comes here. This is where I'm bringing him. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing a guy who was the singer in the Almighty Lumberjacks of Death and is now an actor, a working actor and writer that writes fiction every day and puts it on Substack. We're getting here at 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday through Friday to try this food. And he's going to go home, wow, that's Chicago. We take it for granted sometimes, but we live amongst, again, don't blush, giants of their field. This is not a little thing.
Oh, no, it certainly isn't. And for those, like for me, I work in the West Loop. This is an easy stop on the way, and it's an independent-run business, which always feels good to channel your money toward. And when the food is that much more elevated than what you'd get at the obvious chains, it's a no-brainer. And I got to say, for what you're doing, very reasonably priced.
Very.
I did notice the prices. I'm like, that is totally...
We still have to compete with everyone, So.
Well, and that's, to what Steve's saying about the challenges and what you're accomplishing, it's no secret that food costs are way up for restaurant owners. Like, it's harder to move in your space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is. It is. A lot of you can keep it down. Making it yourself that keeps prices down. Which is one thing we're dedicated to is making everything ourselves for the most part. I don't like to put out stuff that I wouldn't eat myself. So
Yeah, I mean, you want control of the vision.
Absolutely.
From your head to the plate.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
I'm jealous of that, actually. That's that good.
But what you said, Steve, is so accurate. We live in this remarkable city. The rich tapestry of Chicago, I believe you referred to it as.
Good. I'm gonna look at it, I know.
But the stuff that's happening on the independent level, you're an independent author, there's an independent podcast, you're an independent restaurateur, and I mean, we're just in one corner of the city right now. This shit's happening everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're really lucky. Yeah. And I think more people need to be encouraged to tap into what's going on at this very ground level.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So, for the food truck, 7 to 11, Monday through Friday.
Yep.
In the lot of Cobra Lounge. Really, you can't miss it. You've got the spooky wind puppet.
Yeah. The wacky, wild, inflatable tube man monster.
I love a good tube man, and the fact that it's a zombie, even better.
It brightens my day. Even if I have a bad day, all I got to do is watch that thing dance.
There you go.
Nothing but joy. And then, Steve.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have readings coming up?
I do. The next one's, I have kind of cool, again, kind of a weird do-it-yourself whatever. Donna Lynch, who is the singer in Ego License and is an amazing vocalist, is doing a spoken word tour. She's been twice nominated for the Stoker Award for mystery and horror fiction writing. She's amazing. She's just a wonderful human. So she's touring. She's going to be playing here the 5th of July. We're going to do a thing at the Post-Punk
Here at Cobra Lounge
Museum. No.
Okay, here in Chicago.
Here in Chicago at Post-Punk Industrial. But we'll have an after party here for sure.
Perfect.
And then I'm going to go to Detroit and read there at Smalls with her, which is kind of fun. It's kind of a cool thing. Again, do it yourself. I'm a writer. I'm going to drive to Detroit and tell stories for 10 minutes, but it's awesome, right?
Why not?
But the next thing I got is at the Post-Punk Industrial Museum on the 8th, I'm leading the first ever guest tour of the entire museum that Martin Atkins has put together. Again,
what a cool facility. I got the Martin Atkins tour a while back.
It's way better than mine will be.
All right, let's talk websites and social media so people can keep up. Where can people get information about your food journey?
We are Monster Dogs on Instagram. Oh, no, sorry. Monster Dog on Facebook. And Monster Dog Chicago on Instagram.
Okay, got it. And then, Steve, for people to keep up on your readings and just the stuff that's pouring out of your head.
Well, as I suck at promotion, so just on my Facebook page, that's really basically it at this
Steve
point.
Silver.
I got to build a website at some point.
Chef, thank you for the wonderful food. Again, right here in the lot of Cobra, 7 to 11 in the morning. If you're in the area, if you're in that Fulton Market area, or if you're even working downtown River North or the Loop or
the Ashland stop on the Green Line.
The Ashland stop on the Green Line. Like, it's such an easy trip to make. Friendly service, not served by monsters.
No.
It's just a monster theme.
Monsters are present.
Monsters are present. Steve, thank you as always.
Thank you.
We'll do this again. We'll get more stories and thoughts and insights from you.
Okay. I look forward to it. I love it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.